Hello and welcome. The world, as we know, is evolving rapidly. Whether there's the landmark India-UK trade deal, the changing consumer trends, the shift towards premiumization for the liquor industry in totality, Pernod Ricard India CEO Jean Toubeau joins Times Now Digital for an exclusive interaction to decode all this and more. But first, most importantly, it's a historic milestone for the company with the record sales for the Royal Stag brand and for it becoming the largest selling brand across the world. Congratulations. Take us through the highlights of this milestone.
Thank you very much. And yes, we are very pleased to announce that Royal Stag indeed has become the largest selling whiskey brand in the world. It's a milestone we have achieved in calendar year 2025. And after 30 years, a bit more in the market, we are really very proud to reach this record, which is a legacy to the great work which has been done, the vision by the founder of this brand, and today the staying relevant with the consumers.
Right. What do you think worked most for the brand in the past year then, for this milestone to have been achieved?
It's not just a one-year achievement. It has been a consistent effort to, again, have a vision, bringing the brand as a grain neutral spirit base versus molasses that used to exist more than 30 years ago, and then staying relevant in quality, in the liquid that we are bringing to the consumer. Also, the packaging, which has evolved across the year, and probably the innovation and the passion point of our consumer that we are playing on.
Right, Jean, if I had to ask you, what are the biggest shifts then in consumer preferences that you're witnessing at the moment? What would you say?
Well, I think it's a consistent evolution towards premiumization, and really this has been here for many years, and it's only accelerating because we see that consumers do want possibly to drink less, but to drink better, and we are here to cater these needs.
Right. Well, the liquor industry is at a crossroads at the moment, right? Now, do you see premium growth offsetting the mass market demand, the weak mass market demand that many are reporting? What would you say about that?
Well, I would say the higher the price point, the faster the growth. So yes, eventually it means the higher segment will become more and more relevant. And that's fantastic news for us because we play on the premium part of the market.
Right. Now, the historic India-UK trade deal is all set to benefit several sectors. When can Indian consumers then really brace for the cheaper premium scotch?
It doesn't fully depend on me, so the authorities will have to make it happen. But we are ready ourselves to really import our brand with reduced import duties. And then for the higher end of the portfolio, the imported spirits, the price should go down 10 to 15% as soon as the authorities implement it.
Right. So when do you see this? Are you already looking at a fresh strategy? When do you see these price points then reflecting for the Indian consumer?
Again, I don't control it. The authority do, but we are pushing them and partnering with them so that it can happen hopefully in the next weeks, if not in the next months.
Right, in a few weeks we really see that happening. Is Pernod Ricard's India strategy then going to change? Not just for the fact that there are these trade agreements now that are into place. There is this shift in consumer preferences altogether, like you were explaining, the premiumization segment altogether. So is the long-term strategy going to change? Many are also reporting about how consumers are increasingly eyeing single malts now as a preference point.
I don't think we need to change dramatically our strategy, but probably the higher price point will become more and more relevant. So it can be an acceleration of the change, but we are a very large company, the leader in the market, catering all the price points, and I think we're going to see an acceleration of the premiumization more than a big change in the focus that we need to have.
Right, and do you think India can become Pernod Ricard's biggest market, not just by volume, as it already is, but by value then?
It is possible, and if it continues with the trends that we've seen worldwide, it will happen. But I would say I'm not competing with my colleagues in the US. My main competition is here locally, so we will try to maintain or accelerate our growth. If we don't become the biggest market because the US is performing better, you know, I'm a shareholder of the Pernod Ricard Group, I will be happy anyway.
Right, and what will be your goal really for the next 5 years for Pernod Ricard, in particular keeping, you know, localization of production in mind for India? Will all of those factors then come into place as well?
Well, most of our business is local anyway, more in volume. It's more than 90% of what we sell here, which is produced locally. Then, could we move and do more local bottling of the premium part of the portfolio, as we already did with Ballantine's Finest, for instance? That's a possibility. We are always looking at the opportunity, depending on the critical size that we reach with the brand. So we are always looking for this type of opportunities.
So what should Indian consumers then look forward to in terms of innovation, say in the next 5 years from your brand?
So we will bring as much experimentation as we can, and so it's a new type of flavors. Royal Stag, for instance, when we launch Royal Stag Double Dark, it's a more peated version. It brings really a new profile of the taste for the brand within the same brand, and we can do that with many of our brands and bringing this new taste profile and experiences.
Right, now France has been one of India's closest strategic partners beyond defense, infrastructure, and those relationships. Do you see consumer businesses now booming and a bigger pillar for the India-France economic relationship?
Well, I think it's a very solid relationship, and of course Prime Minister Modi and President Macron have probably a special friendship as well that is playing positively for it. Then next, what we could see is whenever the EU FTA comes into play, the French product will benefit from it. So I think the prospects are quite positive on this front.
Right, it's interesting you mentioned the EU FTA. How different do you think the impact of the EU FTA will be then?
It depends. We don't know exactly what the final text will be, etc. So it's difficult to comment on something that has not been signed yet. But we view that very positively. Any move which is more ease of doing business and reduce the trade barrier, we welcome it and we partner with the authority to make it happen.
Absolutely, and now water is a critical resource for your industry, for the liquor industry. What investments is Pernod Ricard making in India on water conservation and sustainable distillation then?
It's a topic we take extremely seriously, and I'm very pleased to let you know that we are water positive in our operation. We replenish more water than what we use, thanks to all the dam that we are putting next to our plants, and that's something we will continue to increase because, yes, water is a very important resource, and we want to use it wisely.
Right, and Jean, if I had to ask you, what has surprised you about the Indian consumer compared to the European consumer, what would you say?
Well, I think the Indian consumer are very knowledgeable about whiskey. Whiskey has been the biggest category in this country for many, many years. And so we see a very positive response when we bring innovation and when we bring a new product to the market. So I'm very, very pleased to see these positive responses from the consumers.
Right, and lastly, if you had to describe India in 3 words from a CEO's perspective, what would you say?
India is dynamic. India is really positive in terms of the attitude of people, and India is full of opportunities.
India is full of opportunities. Well, thank you so much. Clearly, India remains central to the long-term strategy of Pernod Ricard's growth and their aims and goals going forward. Thank you so much for this exclusive interaction.